So, Xbox has been in the headlines a lot recently, mainly due to their hardware or potential lack of in the near future. And that's all honestly due to Microsoft's own baffling decisions. From scrapped all-digital consoles to both their hardware and games seemingly being removed altogether from stores like Costco and now Walmart and Target, as well as even redefining Xbox as a brand with that really shitty "this is an Xbox" campaign. And all of this has led to speculation that this will be their last generation making consoles. And honestly, I'll believe it when I see it. But this whole thing has sort of made me stop and question, are we not in agreement that the Series S is the best 9th gen system? No? I guess not. The Series S is an adorable little piece of hardware. I honestly love it. Out of all of the systems that I own, it is hands down the one that I use the most. It's also one of the best looking systems. In an age of consoles looking like various types of black rectangles or Wi-Fi routers, there is something alluring about the Series S's look. It almost feels like this is what a Steam machine should be. Like, it's so quaint. I honestly wish that Microsoft had brought back the faceplates from the 360 era, or just something, maybe colorful consoles like the N64. Something to give the Series S a little more color and a sense of customization. Since the 360 generation, Xbox has always had the best first-party controller, and it's no different here. The Series controller evolves in the iteration from the Xbox One with so many improvements. It's smooth but with a tactile grip on the bottom, it's versatile, it's easy to swap it between my Xbox and my PC, plus it isn't falling apart at the seams like my PS5 controller. Those triggers broke like day one. Although it is a shame that Microsoft just stopped allowing support for unauthorized controllers because of cheating or something, which is so fucking dumb. To be fair, they do pretty much hand out the license to make official third-party controllers to pretty much everybody, and as a result, we've got some pretty interesting controllers, like this 360 recreation from Hyperkin. I don't know, man, I just want to be able to use an 8-bit DOE controller. That would make the emulation experience as close as it could be. Now that I think about it, the Switch supports more controllers than this. Also, yes, you can play emulators on the Series S through some official means. After getting a free Microsoft developer account, an external hard drive or a USB drive lying around, and about an hour of free time to download stuff and tinker, you can freely emulate older games on the Series consoles, all the way up to the 360. One of my biggest pet peeves with emulation is often the loss of the console experience. There's just something different about playing a game on your couch at a TV without having to tweak settings every 2 seconds, rather than playing in a window on a desktop. This was always the most appealing part to Xbox consoles to me. The flexibility. They weren't just entertainment centers, they were pieces of hardware that could do pretty much anything you could think of. From seamlessly playing music off of a thumb drive with a sick-ass visualizer, to being the only console with a built-in browser still. Xbox has also always been ahead of the curve with their mouse and keyboard support, which you would expect from the Windows guys. There is a massive list of games that allow you to use your PC peripherals instead of a regular controller. And even if I don't understand it, that is pretty cool. But hands down, the biggest selling point for the Series S is the game library. The Xbox backwards compatible list isn't as long as it could be, especially when you take into account that there's only a select few of those that are still available digitally, since the Series S has no disk drive. That really should have been offered as an upgrade or something, man, that's ridiculous. And while hunting down a 360 in some used games is definitely cheaper, it doesn't allow you to play brand new titles. The hardware in the Series is weaker than something like an Xbox One X, which was surprising at first. Some people have gone so far as to blame the Series S's hardware for subpar ports, or imply that the console is just too weak for new games at all, when it's really just a lack of optimization. As somebody who has used this console not just as a support for my PS5 or my PC, but also as a daily driver for big AAA games over the past 3 or so years, almost everything runs fine on the Series S. And if you care enough to constantly compare it to Series X footage, you probably already own a Series X. I can honestly barely tell that it doesn't look as good as the other platforms out there. After spending 3 cycles around the sun with this little guy, I honestly think that this is going to be Microsoft's equivalent of the PlayStation TV. A little shabby piece of hardware that's initially seen as weak and pretty superfluous, only for a niche audience to admire its unique use case. I doubt it'll shoot up in price though, because Microsoft did it first. Yeah, you could pretty much take all of the positive stuff I just said and throw it into the garbage, because it seems like Microsoft is hell-bent on shooting themselves in the foot. Hey, at least they're being accurate to the Vita's legacy. For years, the Series S was hailed as the best deal in gaming, and with a $300 launch price, a monthly subscription to Game Pass only being $15 with access to Xbox games day one, as well as the constant sales in the digital store, that was hard to argue with. Except now, in 2025, Xbox has raised the prices of everything. The console somehow at some point shot up to $380, only to raise again this last month to $400. That is more than the price of the Nintendo Switch, which is now also more expensive than the price of the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, pretty much all 3 manufacturers raised their prices and blamed tariffs for the reason, which, if they are feeling that pressure, is a little bit ridiculous to push that cost onto the consumer. Man, this is the first time that 5 years after consoles have released, their prices have only risen across the board. But Xbox didn't stop there. Game Pass has also recently risen up to $30 a month. What the fuck? That, along with Microsoft's constant cancellation of exclusive games like the Perfect Dark reboot, makes that asking price difficult to stomach. Like, yeah, for $30 a month you get to play games like Doom the Dark Ages or Ninja Gaiden 4 at launch. Or you could just, buy them for the same cost of 2 months of Game Pass Ultimate and then sell them when you're done. I love Avowed, I enjoyed the Oblivion remake, and I'm excited for Outer Worlds 2, but not $30 a month excited. Man, this entire 9th generation is just kind of been a mess for us as fans of games. Because at the end of the day, hardware aside, the focus is about the games, and many of us are just being priced out of those as well. I think we're ready to realize that we did not need new consoles just yet. Or at the very least, the generation needed a few more years in the oven. The first couple years of these consoles proved to us that most games could have very well ran on last gen hardware and not look half bad either. And now, greed has taken the wheel. Remember when these boxes advertises an 8K resolution on them, and yet the hardware isn't even strong enough to run most games at 60 FPS with a 4K resolution, native or not. Sony even tried to recreate the mid-generation refresh with the PS5 Pro, a $750 console, when the difference back with the PS4 Pro wasn't insane, but it was noticeable. But with the PlayStation 5 Pro, it is a marginal upgrade that still cannot run games like Final Fantasy XVI to its fullest potential. And now, with rumors of next generation consoles already being around the corner, it makes me question whether we need those yet either. It feels like we've barely gotten used to these ones, man. Hardware has generally plateaued, and the price of selling something that's actually more capable than what we already have available to us could very well be the first $1,000 console. Mind you, the whole graphics focus isn't really a problem for me. I will always pick frame rates over resolution. I don't know, I don't mind a little Vaseline on my screen, which is why I love the Series S, and it's why I recommended it to everyone around me. Why worry about buying one of the more expensive boxes to have a slightly better resolution where you can just settle for a good enough experience? It feels like we're always being sold something that's trying to be the best of the best, or it's trying to be everything, and it just ends up failing or being really fucking expensive. Good enough is fine. And now, what was originally the best deal in gaming is just a shit show. I didn't realize that I was investing when I bought this on sale for Christmas. I get that many YouTubers say this, but I don't like being negative. I like video games, and I like hardware too. And that's frankly the worst part of this, which should be an evergreen, no-brainer recommendation for a cheap console, now has a long list of caveats. I have no doubt that regardless of whatever happens the rest of this generation, whether we get an Xbox Series E that's more powerful and has more teraflops, or Microsoft goes all the way in on the ROG Ally, which is $1,000 by the way, by Jove, they've already fulfilled the prophecy. The Series S will always be one of my favorite modern systems, even if it's always been treated like a red-headed stepchild. And eventually, once support for it ends, I'd love to see the modding community flock towards it like they did for the original Xbox. Updating the internal storage, getting rid of those stupid fucking memory cards, adding additional controller support, running emulators in retail mode, weird visual mods with RGB. I can't wait to see how end-of-life community support will look for the Series S. But until then, as its parent company continues to frankly sabotage it and as prices continues to rise, it's times like these where we should embrace what we already have available to us, even if your only platform is a little $300 console that can fit in your backpack.
You can be the controller with Xbox Connect. Get this bundle at Kmart for just $299.99, and you'll also get a coupon for $40 off your next gaming purchase. Plus, pick up this limited edition Red Nintendo Wii bundle for $199.99 and get 50,000 Shop Your Way rewards points. The gaming gifts you want, all at a Kmart price.